High temperatures yesterday, 4 degrees at Pearson, nearly 4 in St. Catharines. Now, we did have some fog, especially to start the day. We also had a little bit of shower activity and some drizzle. It was not. Thanks so much, Kevin. There may be some rain and snow mixing in around Toronto, in fact, for this afternoon because the temperatures are cooling. We have some enhancement from the lakes. There's not going to be a lot of it. In large part, this is just on the back side of the low pressure system that's moving through. But yes, some enhancement is possible toward Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. So Toronto this afternoon, don't be surprised if you see some flakes of snow falling through the sky. We're not expecting to see accumulation necessarily with this. So we were talking about this at length in our briefing earlier today about will this impact the commute? The consensus is really it's probably not going to impact in terms of accumulation, but again, it could cause some slippery conditions in some localized regions. So just a word of warning. For this evening, again, we're going to be at 2 degrees. Again, some snow rain mix, Toronto, Hamilton, but again, it's also temperature dependent. So even a temperature difference of 1 to 2 degrees can really spell quite a difference. Now we have high pressure building in after that, and we see the conditions, calming as the low pressure system moves away. And then we look at our 7-day forecast, you see there's actually quite a bit of sunshine here. Now, keep in mind that now that we're in the 7-day forecast, this is Christmas. On Wednesday, there's a possibility here with some changes coming and low pressure system coming that we may be seeing some colder air filtering in here too. That could result in some snowfall for some across southern Ontario. So that's something that our meteorologists are watching pretty closely now behind the scenes in terms of seeing how that all pans out. And you can see Hamilton here, it's hinting at some snow mixed in there too. Might we see the temperatures drop off on Boxing Day and end up with a big storm? That is possible. In Oshawa, temperatures are going to be sitting at around 0 by Sunday and then warming, but again, some showers, possibly dealing with a storm by midweek next week across southern Ontario. Well, thank you, Kasia. I still have a little bit left to do. You know what I really want to get is just one of those old-fashioned wooden toboggans, old school style. Maybe you've done your shopping yet. Maybe you need to get out and do some more. Well, we do have throughout this afternoon, there is the potential of some rain and snow in the GTA and some snow showers for Toronto. That's not going to be a lot of snowfall, so I don't think it's going to cause problems for driving in the commute, but it's just one of those, it's kind of a nuisance, frankly. Now, if you're heading north and west of the city, on the other hand, that's a different situation. You may find yourself in some snow because there's some enhancement coming from Georgian Bay and from Lake Huron in some cases. Now, we're not talking about massive squalls, but just some enhancement with the snowfall back through midwestern and southwestern Ontario. So again, travel on the 401 could get a little bit dicier as you pass Woodstock and down toward London. And then we would be dealing with winds are not terribly strong, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. But again, it could be just a little bit of a mess as you head north and west of the city. So in Toronto for this afternoon, 2 degrees is what we can expect. And we've put see all the beautiful flurries that we put on the screen for you. 2 degrees in Toronto for the evening time, and then everything moves away. The winds will ease as high pressure builds in. We're setting ourselves up for temperatures sitting at around the freezing mark for the next 3 or so days. There's some indication, though, behind the scenes, this is what everyone's talking about, this big Christmas blast, possibly next week. Yes, so we'll watch that closely. That's in this time frame. Here's Wednesday. That's Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. Right now it's trending warm as far as this data is concerned, but the computer models are showing otherwise. We may have a cold spell next week across eastern Canada, and there's Barrie with some snow on Wednesday. That may be true, Kevin. That may be true. We have had some snow, as Kevin was mentioning, up into Barrie, Collingwood, back into midwestern, southwestern Ontario. Some snowfall expected this afternoon. Not a lot, although there will be some enhancement closer to Lake Huron. So Southampton, I'm thinking of Port Elgin, and down toward Bayfield, seeing a little bit of snow this afternoon. Toronto, we're looking at 2 degrees this afternoon, rain, snow mix. Not expecting accumulations necessarily, but further to the south, Hamilton, St. Catharines, then you're getting temperatures that are just a tad cooler, and this is so temperature dependent that a 2 degree difference can really make all of the difference with regard to the type of precipitation we get. Then the low pressure system moves away. Thursday looks to be brighter at this point than it looked yesterday at this time when we spoke, because there's going to be more sunshine and getting rid of that cloud cover that we expected to hang on, but some brighter skies expected right through the weekend, looking pretty good. There's the 7-day forecast. Notice what happens, though, into next week. 4 degrees Wednesday, some rain. This is Christmas Day. It's possible that we may be talking about a cold snap into the late part of next week and maybe even some snow thrown in there too. Thank you so much, Kasia. We do have some winds, as you just mentioned, at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, and that's out of the north and west now that we're on the backside of our low pressure system, which is departing. So some gusty winds from time to time and some snow showers in Toronto. However, if you go west of the city and north, then you're more likely to run into snowfall, say up toward Barrie and Collingwood. So for those who travel that corridor, you're going to run into some snowfall. Let's go down toward Hamilton, though, and check in with Kevin. And the forecast this afternoon in Toronto, 2 degrees, and we're really not expecting much of a change throughout the evening period. There may be some light snow flying through the air by about that time because of that snow-rain mix. It all departs on Thursday, leaving behind at least some sunshine, so some brighter skies. Those who need the sun, we all do. There's going to be a lot more of it Thursday and especially Friday, because by Friday, that ridge of high pressure will be firmly entrenched across southern Ontario. And for the 7-day forecast, things get interesting by next week. Midweek, of course, Wednesday, now we're in the wheelhouse of Christmas, right, being on Wednesday. 4 degrees with rain. However, when we look at the snapshot of Barrie, you can see the snow icons are popping up here. There's some indication on computer models that by this time frame and the later part of next week, that we may be dealing with a cold snap coming in. So that's something that our meteorologists are working on behind the scenes. We're writing about it online as well at theweathernetwork.com, so you can get up to date on all of that. 7-day forecast in Hamilton. Again, temperatures staying, well, pretty much seasonal right through Sunday. Some decent skies and sun, cloud, not too bad at all. But then we get that cloud cover to increase on Tuesday and then some snow showers coming in on Wednesday. What about the timing of this? Will it happen overnight on Christmas Eve? That remains the question. Thank you, Mike. So whether you're in a condo or an apartment, you have a city view or a lake view, you're not likely seeing a lot of sunshine today. We have lots of cloud and some snow showers in the forecast. This is a snapshot of the types of precipitation through the afternoon, whereas Toronto is in a mix. Hamilton, we've put in some snow here for you. It's not going to be a lot of snow, although as you head further to the north and west, you're likely to run into a higher total of snow only because there's enhancement happening from Lake Huron particularly and also around Georgian Bay. So to the tune of maybe upwards of 5 to 10 would be very high along the Lake Huron shores, but something to be mindful of, and then obviously it tapers off dramatically as you get into the GTA. So there may be some snow showers today to contend with. It's a bit of a nuisance, I know, but by tomorrow, in fact, this is a bit of a change from the forecast. Yesterday, we had said that Thursday would be largely cloudy, but we're expecting to see some more sunshine tomorrow across southern Ontario. And then Friday, for the most part, clear, some lingering cloud cover over Lake Ontario. And the forecast for this evening, again, we're sitting around 2 degrees for the evening and then a little bit colder down toward Hamilton and St. Catharines. Again, the snow showers easing, and then we'll be looking ahead to next week for the potential of more weather, and it could be in the form of some colder temperatures and maybe even some snowfall, but looking at Sunday, it looks pretty good overall. A historical chance of white Christmas, being defined as 2 centimeters of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. on Christmas Day. You can see that most areas across southern Canada, 50 to 80% chance, with the exception of BC, of course, with a more moderate climate there. But then the breakdown city by city, look at Toronto, 57% chance of seeing a white Christmas. Of course, last year dealing with the big ice storm, we don't have anything like that on the horizon, thankfully, but there may be some big changes coming in. Some warmth at this point, but some changes may come. Could be looking at a blast of cold air by late next week. Below $1, right? Well, maybe you're riding your bike, you don't need gas. You just need to have manual power, right? We are dealing with some pretty decent temperatures. I mean, yesterday it was 4 degrees in Toronto, so great temperature for getting the bicycle out and getting to your destination. But we do have some air that's going to be a lot colder, we expect, by, say, the end part of next week. That's what the computer models are hinting at this point. A cold snap headed our way. It's not going to be anytime soon, and it looks like we might be okay through Christmas. So the Friday afternoon forecast, again, southern Ontario, we're dealing with temperatures at about the freezing mark, and today is the same case. In fact, it's so temperature dependent. With this low pressure system departing, It's been bringing some rain and showers. Obviously, it was warm yesterday. But now today in Toronto and down toward Hamilton, maybe some mixing, and then beyond that, back into Midwestern, Southwestern Ontario, some snowfall. We're expecting to see a bit of enhancement toward Lake Huron, and temperatures through this evening will be sitting at around 2. Some light snow falling through the sky, but not expected to be a problem with regard to accumulations, at least not yet. We'll watch that long-range forecast very closely, though, to see if we get a cold snap beyond Christmas. I'm Sheryl Plouffe from the Weather Network. Thank you for being here for an update on your weather. We've got the system coming into the Maritimes as we speak, and in largely the form of rain for mainland Nova Scotia. But where it gets really dicey is right across southern New Brunswick, because the temperature is so close to freezing, and there will be some changeable weather we expect in this area. So we do have a freezing rain warning in place just to the north of St. John, Moncton, and Halifax and Shelburne, all included in rainfall warnings at this point. So we've put together some maps to show you the different types of precipitation as well as the warnings in place, these from Environment Canada. So we do have those strong winds through the Cabot Strait and then back into the Maritimes in terms of the weather impact. We've got Summerside, Moncton in snowfall up toward Miramichi, but Fredericton is included in that mixing. It's a snowfall or storm warning, I should say, but there was going to be some mixing through that region. Let's, though, check in with Nate. He's our Atlantic reporter, of course, and see what conditions are like where he is. Thanks, Nate. Yeah, you're so right. I mean, we love to get those snapshots because then it really gives us an account of what it's like on the ground. When we look at our maps, though, we can see these types of precipitation through the afternoon, largely snow in the north. There we have that mixing line. And, you know, our meteorologists are not convinced that Moncton's going to be seeing quite as much snowfall as Environment Canada, to be perfectly honest with you. But we'll see how this all plays out. Certainly across the southern tier of New Brunswick, there's going to be some mixing and then rainfall for Nova Scotia. As we get into the evening, that line pushes further south down toward the south of New Brunswick. Now, again, in the nation's capital through the Ottawa Valley and up toward Montreal. So this is what remains in place from the freezing rain warning. Back across Midwestern, southern, central Ontario, it's snowfall. In some cases, a little bit of enhancement here, especially along the Lake Huron shorelines. But largely, we're not going to be looking at a lot of snow, at most 10 centimeters of snow through that region, but largely less than 5 centimeters. And that includes the GTA. We're more so thinking probably less than 3 centimeters. Back across the west, it's seasonal temperature-wise. We have some rain back again for the BC coast, both Thursday and for Friday. And we may later in the weekend see some of this energy moving over to the Rockies and becoming a low-pressure system and possibly a spell of some colder air and even a Christmas storm on tap for next week. Thanks so much, Jacqueline. We have some snow, a significant amount of snow on the way for northern New Brunswick. Some of these areas will see in excess of 20 centimeters of snow. I'm Sheryl Plouffe from the Weather Network. Glad you're here. We do have a lot of snow on the way for New Brunswick, and there will be also some mixing in southern parts of the province. And that's a concern because it's really going to be so changeable and so dependent on temperatures. Where we have the green on our real-time radar, that is rainfall, and at times some moderate rains coming through. We've had some freezing rain on the backside of that low back toward Ottawa and even north of St. John. We do have some freezing rain warnings in place, mostly for Nova Scotia and PEI, especially the eastern portion. We're going to be seeing rainfall and then possibly a mix over to some snow on the backside of the low as it departs. Let's check in with Nate. He's on the case as he follows this story. It's going to be an active one, Nate. No question. Stay safe out there, and hopefully you'll stay safe as well on these roads, because in New Brunswick it's going to be more of an impact because of the amount of snow, especially in the central and northern areas. Moncton and Summerside PEI are included in the snowfall warnings from Environment Canada, although we're thinking, our meteorologists here think that the totals may be a little less. So we'll see how this pans out. But back toward Fredericton, there is a winter storm warning in place where there's going to be some changeable weather. And then, of course, Cabot Strait, some very strong easterly winds are settling through that region. The snowfall totals are particularly high, and there will be in excess of 20 centimeters of snow in most cases up toward Edmundston. So there's obviously going to be some problematic driving through those regions. Further south, rainfall, and that includes Newfoundland. Now, there's not going to be a lot through Thursday. St. John's, central and southern portions, less than 15 millimeters of rain, and then slightly higher totals for Halifax probably reaching more so 25 plus millimeters of rain. Back into southern Ontario, we do have a mix around Toronto and some snow with some enhancement from the Great Lakes, especially Lake Huron, 5 to 10 centimeters there. Despite these warnings from Environment Canada, there's actually winter weather on the way for the Maritimes in Nova Scotia, and for the Fundy shores, largely rain, although as you get into areas north of St. John, there's going to be a band of some freezing rain as well. So there's also going to be some snowfall. It's significant in some areas, especially northern New Brunswick, where we will see in excess of 20 centimeters of snow for some areas. Fredericton, you're in that winter storm warning, and the winds will be picking up in strength from the southeast as well. Let's turn it over to Nate and see what his travel plans have in store. Thank you very much, Nate. Yeah, as long as you've got a tank full of gas and you've got the Beach Boys, you're good to go. And hot coffee, right? Snowfall here, as Nate was mentioning, Doketown and north, that's where we're going to be seeing the highest totals of snow. He's going to be right in the thick of it all, 20 plus centimeters of snow expected. So it will be a high impact storm for some and others not so much. But the winds will be picking up in strength. And then Nova Scotia seeing upwards of 30 millimeters of rain at the high end and about 15 millimeters of rain in Newfoundland. Now back across southern Ontario, there as of late, Ottawa, some fog hanging over right now. And then back into Toronto, we do have some mixing potential through the afternoon. Let's turn it over to Kasia. All right, thanks, Kasia. We have snowfall in the forecast. It's mostly north, so if you're traveling from Toronto to Barrie, once you get into that area, then north of King City, let's say, you're going to be starting to run into some snowfall, and then back into Midwestern on like Owen Sound, and even down into this area here, right along the shore. So Goderich, Bayfield, back toward Port Elgin, Southampton, Sauble Beach, you've got about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow headed your way. That's because there's enhancement from Lake Huron, and not everywhere are we going to be seeing those totals. Overall, it's a 5 centimeter snow or less. Timmins is in a bullet of between 5 and 10 centimeters. Back across Western Canada, well, the temperatures are warming slowly in Alberta, starting to moderate a little bit. It's still cold though, temperatures feeling like the minus mid-teens in Manitoba, and we'll start to see a little bit of a moderation in temps there as well. BC is getting rainfall once again. Showers yesterday, but now we're talking about rain. 15 to 30 millimeters north of Vancouver. Victoria shadowed a little bit there, less than 15 millimeters, and that could result in a change of pattern once that moisture crosses over the Rockies. So we'll watch for that, especially Saturday night through Sunday. There could be some impact over northern Alberta. This low could become a weather maker for Atlantic Canada and Eastern Canada by the time we get into next week. So this is the snapshot of Sunday. As we can see, there's a nor'easter that's headed up the U.S. eastern seaboard once again, but there's indication that there could even be a Christmas Day or Boxing Day storm next week, which we're following here at the Weather Network.